available in our toolkit, like collaboration. Why aren't we collaborating with other family foundations?
So, Massey, I think it's a really good question. And in our experience in international philanthropy, then what we typically find is that what that really comes down to often is, I don't really want to put my money in somebody else's thing. So we, some 4 or 5 years ago, started to look at, can we create pooled philanthropic funds at scale? And one way of doing that is to create a neutral vehicle, so that isn't owned by any particular foundation, which is focused on a particular issue like anti-trafficking in northern India, or street kids in Guatemala, or whatever the issue is, and start to actually sort of gather foundations to cooperate and collaborate in that context. So in the case of our first one was the Neglected Tropical Disease Fund around Africa, and essentially the neutral vehicle was called the N Fund. We got a couple of founding foundations, and then other people joined over time. The donors were on the board, and that meant that essentially they were able to see and have financial transparency all the way through, which is actually one of the concerns that people have. The fund allowed some, what I call slicing and dicing, the opportunity to actually take a particular interest in a particular geography or issue within the overall fund, which allows the person to feel some ownership, the foundation to feel some ownership within the context of that community of donors. So essentially the leverage factor that you get and the multiplication factor has to be sort of weighed against the, some of the control issues that you're giving up as a foundation and some of the compromises that essentially you'll make. But as a millennial, I think, your generation is actually going to be naturally seeking and searching for collaboration opportunities far more than my generation, and I see really good things coming from that.
Kat, do you think the Smith Family Foundation is missing out on impact by not collaborating?
So there's an African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. If you think about the social impact successes, whether that is the Green Revolution that reduced hunger around the world, or reducing teenage smoking here in the US, when you think of the successes, they were the result of at least collective action, if not collaborative effort. So your impact will be limited if you insist on going alone. But there's a trade-off. You will go slower because you will have to do the kinds of things that Doug is suggesting. You may have to release your agenda. You may have to be frustrated because you see what you ought to do, but your partners aren't coming along with you. And so that's the kind of soul searching you'll need to do as a family. If we want to have more impact, are we willing to have some of the frustrations and patience and listen to others in order to get there?